a few days ago, Sentinels and NRG played in the grand final of the Sen City Classic, and NRG absolutely destroyed Sentinels, both maps, 13-4, 13-5, and you know, back when I made my tier list before NRG had Mata and Verno, I'd ranked NRG, you know, pretty middle of the pack. However, that will most certainly change on my next tier list. But enough of that. So, NRG, particularly the map we're going to look at is Bind, which was Sentinel's map pick. And we're actually going to look at pretty much almost explicitly this attack side, because the defense side, you know, 5 rounds happens, not really enough for me to do proper analysis. But we're typically going to look at the keys of the game for each of these teams based on their team comp. And so, starting off with NRG, because they have the more, you know, standard meta comp, they're playing that Viper Brim, the Raze, and then Double Initiator. And so this comp, particularly under FNS, they're going to play like a slower default style, where they farm orbs on the Gecko, farm orbs on that Sky, on that Brim, and then play, you know, much more post-plant style. So they're going to play slow, they're going to default into places, they're like showers and like long in order to farm orbs. They're going to slowly take space with their Initiator util, wait for it to come back, pick up the Gecko orbs, and then explode out onto the site and play post-plant, where they will most certainly win because they have that Brimstone, because they have that Raze, that Viper Molly, the Gecko Molly, and they have an overwhelming amount of post-plant utility. And so what I'm going to write down for their keys to the game, so key to the game, I don't know why I did a lowercase g, I meant to do uppercase. Make that a little bit nicer. Okay, so their keys to the game on attack are going to be slow. Oops. Slow default, and then into a, I'm gonna say, strong post plant, and I'm gonna say farm. I cannot write eyes, so save me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, just to recap, you know, they're playing this slower default. They're going to farm their Initiator orbs. They're going to use those Initiator ults like that Gecko ult and that Sky ult, where they explode on the site, and then they're just going to play post-plant because they have, you know, 1, 2, 3 different mollies plus nades, so I'll say that's like a half. So, you know, they got 3.5 different mollies. They have so much stall. For Sentinels on the game, their keys of the game on this defense side for them is going to be, they're going to use, you know, they're on very non-typical double duelist comp with the Yoru, with the Raze, and then really interesting actually, they have the Astra. And so I think this Astra, what they're meant to do is they're going to try to do explosive plays for space. So writing that explosive. Okay, so they're going to try to take space with these explosive plays on defense. They're going to use that Yoru Flash, that Astra Pull, you know, the Fade Dog, the Raze Roomba. You know, they're going to use these double duelist comps. They're going to hit those TPs. They're going to flash out of space. They're typically going to play like a much more stronger side compared to a much more weaker side. So they'll probably have like a strong side with, you know, a Yoru Raze, you know, a Fade, and then have a Yoru TP to the weaker side that the Viper's playing on. Because Viper's typically better at strong, and so they're going to try to be, you know, very aggressive with their play. And actually, a big issue with this is that being explosive into a caller like FNS, who you know, has a very, very slow, methodical style on attack, which is why he's so good. He's known for being very, you know, slow, very methodical with his plays. And so, you know, this explosive style for Sentinels is not going to work out very well. They're going to run out of the util. FNS, they're going to, you know, they're going to come back. They're going to let them have the space, wait for the util to come back up for NRG. And then Sentinels, with that double duelist, they're not going to have that rechargeable util. And especially with Astra, Astra doesn't have any rechargeable util either ways. I mean, technically she does, but she only has 5 stars compared to something like Omen, which has infinite amount of smokes if you let them recharge. And so they're going to let Sentinels waste that utility. They're going to wait. They're going to, you know, slowly default back up, get the bomb down, play post plant, and that's eventually what wins this attack side on Bind, and eventually wins them this game, is to that style. And so now we'll get into the round by round analysis. So the first round we're going to take a look at is this pistol round, and as you can see, Sentinels are going to take an expressive, you know, to try to take space in the extremities with that Fade Eye. I think they also use, they don't use any Raze util. but they take space with the Yoru. Yoru has that gate crash in order to get out, and they're actually going to get the first kill in this round, which is why it makes it so interesting to me, because it really highlights just how strong and FNS's play calling is. Because, you know, they lose this first kill due to Psalm, you know, just making a silly mistake, to be honest. He picked the angle before the Skydog. But yeah, so they're going to take the Skydog, they're going to, if you look at minimap, they're going to use that in order to push back the Yoru, and they're actually going to force out the rotate from the Raze. And so here's where the stupid mistakes come through for Sentinels. Narrate actually dies here, just no utility, simply just gets caught out by Mata here, and gets picked off. And so not only did they already force the Raze rotate, John QT, if we back up a second, John QT was pushed up here. This Raze kill actually forces him to go from backside all the way back to CT. So he starts here, backside, and then he goes all the way back to CT, and this just makes the site hit for A so much easier for NRG. They're gonna hit A, they're gonna get the bomb down, and then they're just gonna simply win the post plant. I don't know why my video's bugging out. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, if we skip forward a little bit, NRG, they get bombed down, they farm that orb on the Gecko, which, you know, is gonna be very impactful later, and they just simply win. Because if we look at sorry, if you look at Sentinel's utility, they don't have anything. You know, it is a post plant still, but they have a Seize, they have a nade, and they have a star. And, you know, that's nothing compared to a nade on the other side. They still have Gecko Flash. They're getting Wingman back as we speak. You know, it's just simply not enough utility in order to take back the site after the post plant. And as you see, so yeah, they get the Raze kill on the Verno, but it's simply not going to matter in the end. And FNS, this game was shooting compared to his recent, you know, past seasons. He's an integral part of him. Yeah, see, like, the old FNS is not hitting that shot. You know what I mean? Yeah, the old FNS is dying there. But yeah, just a really good round from NRG in order to come back from that deficit that they faced early, and really just shows how they directly countered Sentinels. Next round we're going to take a look at is NRG's bonus round, first gun round for Sentinels, and Sentinels bungle this, like, absolutely, you know, hard sell this. And NRG, interestingly enough, go for kind of a full buy, so it's not really a bonus, it's more of a buy round for them. Because they do that, you know, kind of whatever it is, FPX buy, or, you know, whatever team. I'm totally blanking right now. The team in APAC that's oh, Na'Vi buy. Yeah, they go for a Na'Vi buy. Totally blanked on that. But they get 4 rifles now, and they go for this 1-1-3 default. They send the pack of people in order to take space, and the raid actually gets the very first kill here on the Vernal, which is very important because it denies Verno from getting this orb. Which is, you know, the whole point of NRG's attack pulling is around that Gecko ult, since it's, you know, so cheap and it's so impactful on the round. But I don't know what happens here, but Sentinels, they simply fall apart. The aggression with Zelsis and they decide to aggress with Zelsis and Narrate in order to hold the space. They burn the Astra Star, which is another important part about their comp, is that this Astra util over a Brimstone, over an Omen, helps them be so much more aggressive with these pulls and stuns from across the map. You know, compared to like what an Omen blind could be. You know, an Omen is not blinding here, obviously. But they throw. Like this guy, he Narrate whiffs, NRG Psalm, one taps Zelsis, and many other teams after getting these 2 kills would explode through. You know what I mean? They would come up, they would take space, they would explode through, take the site. However, NRG, which is something FNS talked about with their new coach from Oxygen. You know, their new coach, every practice, he tries to, you know, drill it in their heads that after we get picks, we don't have to explode forward. We can stay calm, cool, collected. And if I play the round again, that's what they do. They relax, they stay calm, cool, collected, throw a smoke to deny info, heal up, and take a breath. And this is what, you know, this team is so good at, and why this team, I think, is actually going to be pretty dominant this year, despite what I thought earlier on in the offseason, is because FNS, you know, he's back. Like, he's back to where he was. He makes the right call. He calls them back to A. They go, they hit A, they get the bomb down. Easy round for them. And Sentinels find them down 0-3 early on with a broken economy. And from here, the entire half just completely slides. So I'll just skip forward a little bit. But yeah, FNS gets the stinger kill. They actually don't get bombed down A. Sorry, I was mistaken. That was a different round in my notes. They end up rotating back to B. And John QT ends up just saving. Just a real quick coverage of this bonus round. NRG are going to win this round. pretty handily. Obviously, it's a Sentinel save round, but I just thought the Sentinels actually had some really interesting strats here. So they're going to go for a 3-man push out of Shower. NRG, they're going to do their typical dog up through Long. They're going to get this orb on the Verno. Actually, they're not. Sorry, I was mistaken. But NRG, or Sentinel, sorry, they do this 3-man push out with Narrate. And so they're kind of like almost like secret servicing Narrate. They're going to bait for him, try to, get him kills, and in turn, he can give those guns to his teammates so they can get more kills, possibly win the round. And so Zekin here, he peeks alone. He pretends like he's just simply flanking out after they applied pressure B. And so they get this kill, and NRG actually relaxes a little bit and allows Narrate to find the kill on the FNS. They back up a little bit. And then if I skip forward a little bit, so at Sentinels, they have a small win there for win on NRG. They force NRG to go B, and then this is actually a really cool hold here. They have a Viper Molly and a Astra Suck, and it actually ends up getting Zelsis a kill. As you can see, he was assisted by the Fade Scan, damage from Raze, but also the Astra Pull. Astra Smoke and Pull. But just a really interesting kind of way to hold it. Unfortunately, they don't have enough people here to spam. I think that if John QT had rotated over here as well, so he could spam off the eye, maybe throw the eye from CT so he has more time, I think it'd be probably a lot better. And then Sentinels actually off of this, to make it a close round, they popped the Yoru ult though, which was very interesting to me. That just a lot of these post plants where they could be favored with ults, you'll see this happen a lot where they'll get up in kills, they'll get favored in ults, and yet they'll still find a way to throw. And it just highlights how good the Sentinels, or this NRG comp is, at post plants, and how good the NRG players individually are at post plants. Look at Verno baiting this for Mata to give Mata time. He's baiting, he's biding his time. He's not trying to commit to a fight. He does get a kill, but I don't call this a very committed fight here. But he baits for Mata. He just gives him time, and NRG just have such a better understanding of how to play post plant than Sentinels. That's why they run so many different rounds in this half. All right, so it's round 8. Sentinels have called a tactical timeout 2 rounds ago. However, they didn't, it was an eco round, didn't really count for them, so I'm calling it a wash. It's round 7. And so round 8, this is where after the tac timeout, I expect change. I expect Sentinels to actually do something, because they are getting stomped right now. It is 7-0. However, what do? They don't change anything, really. I mean, they do the same play that they've already been running before in the half. This is their pistol round setup. However, this time they TP with Zoru, which is a little bit interesting. NRG, they engage, so if I play round out, so yeah, they have this Yoru TP. We do get a comms listen in, by the way, as well, which will be interesting at the end of the round, but for now it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so NRG, they put 3 towards Shower, Yoru TP. They try to crunch a little bit here in a second. So they get the first kill, they try to crunch. However, NRG, they get the trades through. So it ends up being a 3v3. And in this 3v3 is where the issue happens for Sentinels, is because instead of... it actually becomes a 3v2. Because this dual 1v1 Sentinel, Zelsis versus FNS. But so it becomes a 3v2, and Sentinels, they come back, and they give up all the space that they have, their entire comp has worked to attack this space and take this space. That was the whole point of their comp. That was the key to their game, is that they take the space. However, they give it up. And they're in a 3v2, and they just give it up. And with other comps, like specifically NRG's comp, I would be fine with this, because they have, they have the smokes, they have the Molly for post plant to retake, they have the Gecko, the Gecko utility for that retake on defense. Presumably, they have, hopefully they have some Sky utility. However, if you look at Sentinels, they have a Viper Molly, a Seize, and 1 star. And they also have a Fatal and an Astra ult, but still, they don't have much utility at all. And so they give up the site to play post plant, which they should be favored in. However, due to their composition, they are actually not favored in, and I actually, prefer to be NRG in this situation, because they have that Molly on Som, and because they have that Skydog. They are much more favored. And if you think about it, having bomb down is kind of like an extra player in terms of advantage. And so they use this Fatal. It tags Ethan. I think it does. It tag Som? No, it doesn't. But having bomb down is like an extra player advantage, and so they don't even, they don't really have an advantage now. Now NRG are favored, they get the Molly down, and Sentinels simply they took too much time and they gave up too much space for this to ever be feasible. And so, this kill from Ethan is just kind of the nail in the coffin. John QT gives the illusion of it being winnable, but again, Som, he just jiggles it, he plays it smart, he swings when he knows that John QT doesn't have enough time, and they win the round. And so if we go back, Sentinels, their entire point of their comp was to work to attack this area. They want to take aggressive space. They want to take aggressive control. But then once they, they spend all their utility, they spend, 2 lives plus both Fade Dogs plus some stars to take this space, and then they just give it up. Why are you playing the comp that wants to take space if you're just going to give it up eventually? And so NRG, they know this. They just wait for Sentinels to burn the utility. They get the trades through. They wait for post plant. They win the post plant. It's just a very consistent theme. And I wish that with these tack timeouts from Sentinels, from Kaplan, I wish he would recognize this, but they simply never do. All right, so it's round number 10, and this is a must-win for Sentinels. There's no coming back from a 10-2 half. I think maybe 2 teams have ever done it in an official match. Obviously this is off-season, but same rule applies. It's very, once you go down 10-0, it's dire. And so NRG, for the past few rounds, they've been doing, 3-1-1 setups where they put 3 people in the aggressive space. They did with Long first, and then they did with Showers that last time we watched. However, they're in a 1-1-2 now, and so, actually, Sean Garris points this out, but it's a very interesting change of place for NRG. Even though they're still winning, they change it up, and that's why FNS is considered, so highly regarded, is just because he's always unpredictable. But NRG, I'm actually just going to skip ahead a little bit. They don't do anything for, like, the first 30 seconds of the round. However, this round is pretty much solely lost by Zelsless. He makes a catastrophic mistake. Verno has ult. It's his 3rd ult of the half. They should know this by now. However, he pushes forward into a stupid position, just to be brutal. And he gets ulted. And it was pretty obvious from the start, like, this would happen. But yeah, he just gets ulted. Easy kill. Donates the ult to Mata. Mata raise rockets. And eventually just gets the kill on the rate through the TP. And it's a decimation. It was a brutal game for Sentinels. They never could make really any adjustments until the final 2 rounds of the half, and they didn't really know how NRG wanted to play it, and NRG knew how Sentinels wanted to play it. They counted it perfectly, and from now on it's a 5v2, rounds over. Bang, gives the illusion of it being a winnable round, but it's really not. They just go for the save. But I mean, I don't know what Sean Garris is talking about right now. But, I mean, yeah, it was just an absolute, utter decimation from NRG here. And, yeah, that's all I have to say. I mean, Sentinels, they never really could adapt to what NRG are doing. NRG, every time Sentinels try to adapt, they would do something completely different. And so Sentinels, they got the op-out. They tried to adjust for that aggressive playstyle. NRG, they go to Hookah, which is pretty much the only place that the op can't get value on this map. So they attack there. They get the ults, Zelsis throws, and just overall, an absolutely brutal game from NRG, just absolutely demolishing Sentinels, and I'm very excited to watch this team in VCT this year.